rates, with the cost of utilities, you'll have somebody will first have to come and clean up the power sector mess. You'll have to start by cleaning up the coal block allocation mess, because you won't be able to do the earlier if you didn't do the second. And therefore, you'll have to look at cost of utilities, interest rates. This will impact on low-cost manufacturing. It will also impact on real estate. Today, India was growing at a huge pace as far as suburbanization was concerned. And all this got stalled. Your infrastructure sector, the highways at some stage had slowed down. I do hope they are able to expedite the pace. And you'll probably have to make sure that even where there is lesser profitability or utility, a top priority must be given to create that connectivity of highways in the northeast itself. They've been completely deprived of it. And when they complain of discrimination, when the east-west corridor was planned, it was then anticipated that as Mahasadak it would go down through Guwahati right till Silchar. Now the Golden Quadrilateral is over, the north-west, the north-south, east-west is over. Many other corridors have come up. But that extension to the northeast still remains incomplete. And therefore, you will have to give a top priority, because that will give a great boost as far as the northeast is concerned. I think with the growing population, education probably would be is a sector where a lot will have to be looked at. These are not anything to do with any new ingenious thinking. Creation of your new smart cities. It'll take decades to create cities, but now I think you'll have to consider ultimately urbanization is going to be the growing trend. Skill development. And one looks at what happened in Madhya Pradesh 2 days ago. I think this is an experiment which requires to be replicated in some of the states. How did Madhya Pradesh get on to 18% growth rate in agriculture? How is it covered up for overtaking Punjab as far as agriculture is concerned? To just use the resource of Narmada, and when I speak of Narmada, Narmada got stalled for years together because some people who considered themselves well-meaning got it stalled by the Supreme Court. So the cost also went up by a few thousand crores. And today, the agricultural growth as far as Gujarat is concerned, it led to the connectivity of rivers within Gujarat. It's led to the connectivity of rivers now within Madhya Pradesh. Day before yesterday, they transferred the water from Narmada to the Shipra river. And the non-fertile area of land in the Malwa region, the land around Indore, so not only drinking water, various other irrigational projects, they've already achieved that by that purpose. And I think within the states, even if at a national level, interstate is not possible, intrastate within the state, it is something which really requires to be looked into. How far do we go on with all these poverty alleviation schemes? I think they seriously need to be looked at in linking them to some form of asset creation. Per se, India will always require poverty alleviation scheme if you have around 30% of your people below the poverty line. You can't really depend only on the pulling them up, as Professor Bhagwati says. But will those schemes required to be linked to some form of asset creation? We've been discussing this within our own party, and we've always felt that there are a large number of asset creation schemes which may not be huge infrastructural projects. Could it be linked to the right almost a right or an entitlement of a long-term vision where every house in India has a tap, every house in India has an electricity connection, every house in India has a toilet facility. If all your poverty alleviation schemes are just linked to the simple idea of this basic amenity, is it capable of subserving a larger national purpose and going beyond merely a job creation or a dole being rolled out? At the end, I just want to mention that when the vote on account was presented by the finance minister a few days ago, I commented that day that having done his job and delivered a farewell address, he probably would be a relieved man. Whoever is his successor must now become a very worried man. Because the manner in which things have been left out, it's a serious question for all of us in the political system to ponder. If with average to bad governance, for some years we grew by 8%, 9%, and then it declined. If the quality of decision making and the quality of governance in India were to hugely improve, there was more greater coherence, there was faster project clearance. And I don't think replacing one committee of the cabinet with another itself is an answer. For all your major projects, a committee headed maybe by the Prime Minister. And I see no reason why it should only include central ministers. It probably should include the chief minister of the state where the project is entitled. Because some states have been picked up and were being specially targeted for non-clearance of the projects. And therefore, in that decision making, and that is federalism in the economic decision making. So if we were to improve upon the systems and the quality of governance, the quality of decisiveness, the quality of project implementation, I see absolutely no reason why India can slowly go back to those growth rates we have missed. And once we are able to achieve those growth rates, probably the ability of the state then to perform its role, even as a poverty eradicator, would be much faster. Thank you.
Okay, so that's Arun Jaitley talking at the India Macro Convention, where he has made statements saying the economic environment has not been very exciting in the past few weeks. A lot will have to be looked into in sectors such as the education sector, need to clean up the power mess and issues with regards to coal block allocations, and need to consider how to make India a low-cost manufacturing hub. So these are a couple of statements which he has made in today's speech. That's Arun Jaitley, who was talking at the India Macro Convention, and did mention specifically on FDI that one cannot that investment cannot be just by FDI, cannot look at just raising FDI limits as the only way of growth. And that's a couple of statements which have come in, and the UPA has failed to build consensus with regards to important issues such as the GST.